Okay, so yesterday we started understanding about Salesforce. So first thing, Salesforce is a software company by following the cloud computing concept. That means everything we do in internet, that is using the application and customizing the application and also distributing the hardware through internet. Such kind of process we call as cloud computing. Salesforce, by following that process, they are following two products. So I mean, they are providing two services. One is software as a service. As a software as a service, they are providing CRM applications. You see, CRM applications as a service, and also platform to customize those applications as per the client requirements. Okay, and so on Salesforce platform, we can develop. Already yesterday we discussed about the CRM process. So any business if you take, so you see pre-sales activities and post-sales activities. Pre-sales activities starts with campaign. Campaign means to introduce the product in the market, they give advertisements. Due to advertisements, they get the responses. Those responses we call as leads. Lead means they are showing some kind of interest about that product or service. Okay, so if the lead is qualified, if the lead is showing further interest, lead can be converted into account, contact, and opportunity. Account means company. Contact means a person who is working in that company. Opportunity means it is a deal. So what exactly they want. So if they are looking for one of the product, what is that product name? What is the quantity they want? So all those things. Once after selling the product, in case of any problems with the product, so they provide the support. Okay, so for that again, so post-sales activities that includes creating the case for a problem. If you have any problem with the product, you can contact the service center so that they will create a case for you and resolve your problem. Okay, so all that process also they maintain as part of the CRM. Salesforce is providing such kind of product by default. Okay, so those CRM applications they have categorized into different applications. Okay, so whatever the CRM apps Salesforce is providing, so those are marketing, sales, and the service. So these are the applications you see. If any client registered with Salesforce, they start seeing these applications. They can start using these applications. And on top of that, to customize those applications as per the custom business requirements, which is not part of the standard application. So that time they are also providing the platform. Through this platform, they are providing the configurable options where we can configure and achieve the client requirements. Some of the requirements we cannot achieve with the configuration. So that time, so we have to go with the development. So to support development also, they are providing the platform. Here we can develop. And when compared to other technologies, here no maintenance. So suppose say Java, if some client they need one of the basic application on Java platform, at least minimum it take 3 months, 6 months like that, right? But here Salesforce, you can register immediately. You can register immediately within minutes. You will get the Salesforce account in the server. And you can, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. If I may, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So when we talk about platform, right? So that's different than the infrastructure, correct? I just want to make sure. Like platform is just an environment where you can customize it, right? That has nothing to do with the infrastructure, right?
So infrastructure, see, once we register with the Salesforce, they provide the dedicated server space. So because whatever the standard applications are there, whatever the custom applications you are going to develop, so to store all that information, you need the server space, right? So as part of the package, once any client registers with Salesforce, they will be providing the default server space. Okay, so in that server space, you see standard applications, and as a platform, if you want to develop something new, for that also you need the server space, right? So So, but this platform, so what they say, it is not about the hardware. So platform means where there is a capability, you can compile the code, whatever you develop. And so they maintain an engine where the code can run and give the result. So all those things. Okay.
Got it. So in other words, you cannot get platform as a service without SaaS, right? Software as a service. Right?
Yeah, that is also possible. Yeah, good question. So suppose say one of the clients, they don't want any CRM applications. They don't want any standard applications. They want to fully develop the customized application. That is also possible. They only provide the license for post.com. So where once they register, they don't see any standard application. They need to develop their own custom applications on the platform. That is also possible. Okay, so but they charge more for the standard applications than the platform. So if you go with only platform license, the cost is very cheaper when compared to the full-fledged license. Okay.
Yeah, good answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, so now let's today just we discussed all those points yesterday. Today let's understand about the development life cycle. Suppose say I'm new to Salesforce. So how the project starts, right? So once the project starts, so what are the different phases, and so where we need to work as admin, so where we get a chance to work as a developer, where we need to work, right? So let's understand all those things. So for that, just I'm taking one of the client name as one of the example. So Coca-Cola is one of the client for Salesforce. Okay. So suppose they are newly looking for CRM application. Assume that they are looking for CRM application, and they identified that Salesforce is one of the good platform to develop the CRM applications. So one of the person from Coca-Cola is responsible, right? So they will be having a team who is responsible to get the CRM application, right? So maybe here assume that Venkat is one of the person who is responsible to get the CRM application for the Coca-Cola client. Venkat and his team, right? He's having some team, maybe 5 members, 6 members. So they do research and they identified Salesforce platform where they can manage their CRM application, right? So, so the first thing, so they first talk to Salesforce sales team. They explain about their requirements. So Coca-Cola, they want to manage their marketing, they want to manage their sales, they want to manage their service. So all those modules they want to maintain as part of the CRM application. So based on their requirement, Salesforce sales team, they suggest for one of the edition. There are different types of editions. Unlimited edition, enterprise edition, and the sales cloud only to get the license for sales application, service cloud only for the service application. So suppose say this client, since they are looking for everything, so they decided to go with, after the discussion, they decided to go with unlimited edition, one of the Salesforce edition, right? So then they also discuss about the license fee. Salesforce, they charge per user per month. The billing life cycle is yearly. Suppose say initial, as part of the initial rollout, they want 10 licenses. Okay, they register with Salesforce. They need to pay for 1 year. So 10 users into 12 months, right? Up to 1 year license fee. So one of the user from Coca-Cola team, they register. Suppose say Venkat is one of the user registered with this unlimited edition of the Salesforce. Okay. So once Venkat registers, he'll get one of the account to log into Salesforce account. Right. So once they register, whatever they get, that we call as production environment. Okay, where the live application will be there. So Coca-Cola production will be created. Okay, so since this user registered, Venkat, he can log in. He can go to the website and he can log in. So what is the URL to log into the production? The URL to log into the production is login.salesforce.com. So this is the URL. Okay, so all they do is once after registering, so you can open this website and he can provide his username and the password and he can log in so that he can start seeing the application. Okay, suppose say assume that we are also registering for the production, right? So as a free user, I don't want to pay anything. So I want to practice on Salesforce platform. I want to understand about the applications and I want to develop. Okay, so any end user or administrator or developer, anyone who want to start with Salesforce, so they need to know about this website, developer.salesforce.com. So one of the website. So here we can register. So this is for free. Okay, so registration. So I recommend you to go to this website and for your practice, you need to register here. For our class, for our session, so throughout this course to explain, I'm going to register for one of the account. To practice from your side, you can register for one of the account. And also, please don't register here. So once we register, we need to log in from here. So actually, when you open this website, here also you see one of the option called try for free. If you register here, it is 30 days free trial. That means after 30 days, the account will expire. Okay, so please don't register here. So you need to register here. So let me register and show you. Okay, so here, since we are a free user, we are not going to pay any license fee. But if they are looking for unlimited edition or something, so they need to pay the license fee, then they can register. Okay, so click on sign up. And so while registering that primary user, that user also follow the same steps. Okay.
Srinu,
Yeah.
sorry to disturb you.
Yeah.
See, can you close this window? I mean, can you open that notepad?
Okay.
So if you register with Coca-Cola with unlimited edition, you will get 10 license per year, right?
No. See, I'm just assuming. So I'm saying that assume that so Venkat and his team, as part of the initial plan to use the platform, they are looking for 10 user licenses. So that is an assumption, right? In reality, it can be 100 or 300. So they are not going to get anything for unlimited editions. For sure, they should pay. They don't get anything free. Okay.
Okay.
So this account here, whatever we are registering is free. No need to pay the license fee. I'll explain. So why they are providing this as free, how it is different when compared to the paid version, right? We'll discuss that.
No, what I mean to ask that. What I mean to ask that, who will provide the credentials for this Venkat user under Coca-Cola team?
So they need to register once after done with the payment. So they can register like this, however I am doing, right?
Okay.
So they can register like this. They can set their own password. Okay. So, but here only the payment
for each of the edition, developer.salesforce.com will be the only URL to sign up.
No. So developer.salesforce.com is to register only for free account. Okay. So for the paid account, so there is a different process. First, they need to talk to Salesforce sales team. They need to complete the payment. Then after that, so they generate one of the link from there. They can register. There also similar to this. They see one of the form. So primary user can register like this. Here only the part which we are not doing is the payment part.
But for enterprise and unlimited, we can get the account for at least 30 or 14 days, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so first you can go, if you want to go with the trial version, you can first try for 30 days. After that, you need to yeah,
okay.
That is there.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so let's register here. Okay, so for this I want some name for each batch. So here maybe I'm going with this name, Venkat. So here I'm giving as Venkat.k@. So here it should be email address. It should be a valid email address. Okay. So because after signing up, instructions will go to email to set the password. Okay. If you give something invalid, you cannot complete your sign up process. Okay. So with same email address, you can generate multiple accounts. I have more than 100 accounts. Okay. So same email address, you can create multiple accounts, but only the rule is the username should be different. Okay. So here you can select one of the role. I'm selecting developer. So here the company name. So in general, the company name we give here. So some company, suppose say I'm giving Coca-Cola as the company name, right? And so country, you can select one of the country. And the postal code, you can give something. It's not, they won't validate that. And so this is the main important thing. So this is the username. In general, username will be like suppose say Venkat, right? So first name dot last name @ the company.com, right? So in general, they generate like that. Okay, so the username, it can be anything, whatever you feel. I can also say best72 or whatever I feel. So it should be like your name @ company.com. This represents company. Okay. But for now here, so I'm following this pattern. I'm saying venkat.k@best72.com, right? That is available. And so click on send. So after this, that email address, whatever I gave, so one email will go to that email address. There we need to set the password and also secret question. Okay. So let me check my email. So I'm opening my email address, and if you see here, this is the email I have received. Okay. So the primary user also will be registering like this. Okay, so click on verify. And I'm giving password as SFDC @123. Okay. So even though you know the password, so you cannot log in. So because if you are trying to log in from new browser or new internet IP address, system will ask for the verification code, which will go to the email of the associated to that username, whatever the email is there. Or you can also register for mobile. Verification code will go to that. Okay. So here secret question, security question. So I'm giving as Bangalore. Change. Okay. So this is the process to sign up, and all of you should register like this so that you can start using the for your practice. It is like there is no expiry. So in a number of days it will be there unless you are not active more than 6 months or something like that. Okay. So if you are trying to access so at least once in 6 months, your account will be there for lifetime. Okay. And so this is a free account, so there are limitations. Okay. So now if you see, let me explain about some of the features, and after that we'll discuss. This one, whatever you are seeing, this look and feel we call as lightning experience. Okay. So this is the lightning experience. From long time when Salesforce started, the look and feel was completely different. They are also supporting such kind of older version. That version they are calling as Salesforce Classic. The look and feel of the UI will be different when compared to Lightning experience and the Classic experience. Okay, so you can switch to Classic. So by default, in general, users will be navigated to the Lightning experience. Still, if you want to use Classic, you can also click on this switch to Classic, so that it will switch to this Classic experience. And also, if you want to switch to Lightning experience, again you can click on this link, so that it will switch back to Lightning experience. Okay, so we'll be discussing mostly with the Lightning experience. Wherever it is needed, we'll also switch to Classic and discuss. Okay, and so yeah.
Sorry, quick question. So the one which comes as a default, right? When you log in as a developer, is that the CRM app that comes as in the marketing, sales, service? All the modules will be there, or?
Yeah. So as part of the free account, they provide all the applications by default.
Okay.
So all the applications you can see from here. So in Classic, this is the place where you can see the list of applications. Okay, on top right corner. So let me expand that. So if you see, sales is one of the standard application. So whatever the application by default they provide, we call as standard applications. Whatever we create, those we call as custom application. Okay, so sales is one of the standard application. Service, marketing, so app launcher. So all these are the standard applications. So as part of the CRM, these are the applications you see: sales, service, and marketing. Okay, and same thing in the Lightning experience. So mostly we are going to work in the Lightning experience. Let me switch to Lightning experience. So again, you can click on that, so that it will be switched to Lightning. So in Lightning experience, to open the list of applications, you need to click on this. This one we call as app launcher. Okay, so technically, if you want to say these dots, whatever you are seeing, we have to call as app launcher. Okay, so from that we can open the list of application. Click on that, so that it will open the app launcher. Here you can see some of the applications, and if you want to see everything, you can also click on view all, so that it will show all the list of applications available: service, marketing, and community. All those are some of the standard applications we'll discuss going forward. And and also all items. So these things we call as tabs. Okay, so maybe since we started exploring about this application, we should know about some basics. Okay, so here I use the terminology like application or app, right? So in general, here one application is like one project. Okay, so suppose one of the client to manage their leaves, right, time of request, they need one of the application. To manage their recruitment process, they need one of the application, right? It is like a project, right? So project here we call as application. And also we have the tables, right? In database perspective, we say table. So here in Salesforce, instead of table, we call as object. If I say object, you have to understand that it is table. Okay. So in general, in table we see columns, right? So here instead of columns we call as fields. Okay. In table we see rows, right? So here I say as records. The terminology is a little different. Okay. And also in database perspective, if you want to read the data from a table, or if you want to alter the data of a table, right? So we use SQL, DML, some of the commands, right? So here in Salesforce, we have UI, the user interface. Without writing any commands, we can read the data from the database. We can also alter the data of the database. We have UI for that. So to link to the table, here I call as tab. Tab is nothing but link to a table. So as soon as I click on the tab, internally it will make the call to table, retrieve the data and show on the UI. So, and also you can open one of the row, that means record, and you can also alter the data. You can modify, you can also create new. So all those things with the point and click we can do. Okay, no need to write any commands. So just understand. So here whatever I am showing, So sales service is one of the application, marketing is one of the application, and sales is one of the application. So let me open marketing application. Okay. So in Salesforce, application is nothing but collection of tabs, nothing else. Okay. So this application means we keep multiple tables together as links here. Tables means objects. So here campaigns is one of the object, that means the table. Leads is one of the table. Contacts is one of the table. For marketing people, right? Marketing representatives. So mostly what they deal, right? They deal with the campaigns, advertisements. They deal with the leads, and also from leads, so contacts will be generated. So opportunities, whatever they need. So they are providing as tabs as part of this standard application. And also same table, right? Table means object. Suppose if you take this contacts table, if I open one more application, I'm opening sales application. Okay, so you can also search here. I'm opening sales application. In sales application also you see some of the tabs, opportunities, leads, and also if you see contacts, it is there in the marketing application, and also it is there here, right? So, and also many people, they are asking questions here. If I create one row in this table, right? Row means record. I call as record here in Salesforce. If I insert one of the record into this table, will it be available for the marketing application? Right? It will be available. It's not that. So here application is nothing but so keeping all the links together, right? So, but once we create the object, once there is a standard object, that means a table or custom object, whatever we create in a custom way, we call as custom object, custom table. Okay. So from any application you store data, it will be available everywhere. So specific to application, storing data is not there. Okay. So same table you see as part of the different applications. In this application, if I store some data, same data you can also see from other application also. Okay. So here just understand that in Salesforce application means it keep all the tabs together. So that sales team mostly they deal with opportunities, and after that these things. So that's why they are keeping these tabs together. So same thing if you, yeah.
This is Venkat. Quick question. So I was a little surprised when you said that because these modules are independent, right? They're separate, service versus sales, right? So if I am a salesperson, if I have my contact, a service guy is able to view it, right? That's what I understood you, right? Correctly.
Yes.
So, but if I do not want that, right? Because, you know, sometimes sales means sales contacts versus service contacts, right? So you say that this tool doesn't allow that right now.
So what I'm saying is by default, it will be available like that. Suppose say
Okay.
sales rep, as a sales rep, I don't want to show my information to service people, right? So for that we have a concept called security. So as part of the security settings, we differentiate. Sales rep can see which kind of data, right? Service reps can see which kind of data. Through security, we have to control.
Or is it based on the roles and responsibilities then? Is it similar to that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's based on the roles and profiles. But technically, the data stores in the same table. Either sales rep create the record or service rep create the record. Technically, all the data will go and store in the same table. Okay. So just understand it. But if you want to differentiate, we have security. We have the topics for all those things. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Shefali this side. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
So yeah. So yeah. 1 second. So here all these are the standard tabs, right? So standard objects. As per the requirement, we can create the custom objects and we create. Okay. So I'll come to that. Yeah. So sorry.
I have a question, Shrinu.
Yeah. Please, you can ask your question.
Yep. Can you please go back to the previous application you have just selected? I guess marketing or something you have selected.
Okay.
No, the previous one which you have selected, the service, I didn't remember that one.
Sales. Okay.
No, that was not sales. I didn't remember this application. I just, okay, go with the sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a
Here
sales
is one
application.
tab. Correct. Here is one tab for task.
Yeah.
Is it like that task is the independent object? Because if I'm not wrong, task and event is something which is related with some of the object which are there in Salesforce. But here we can see a independent tab for that.
Yeah. So the thing is, while creating, we have a concept called relationships. Okay. So we can relate to the particular object based on the requirement. So sometimes while creating the task, so I don't want to relate with any table data. I want to relate to so one of the user, right? I can search for the user and assign. So there is a concept called relationships, right? Let's go step by step. Okay. So through that we can decide whom should this task will be. Okay.
So is it also is it very specific to Lightning only, or is it available in Classic as well?
Both Classic and Lightning. And also the thing is, you don't see different data for Classic and different data for Lightning experience. Okay.
No,
in the
that I
Lightning
can understand because this is for the same environment, but I didn't see task as an independent tab in Classic.
Okay, so in Classic, see the Lightning sales application, they are maintaining as different, and the Classic sales application they are maintaining as different. Okay, so there are different versions of the applications for Classic and the Lightning. Okay, so in Lightning, the order of the tabs which you see is different than Classic. Okay, that is there.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is very specific to Lightning only.
Yeah, in Lightning, as part of the application, standard application, they are providing this. Okay.
Okay.
And also, if some reason, if they don't like to see this, we can also remove this from the standard application. Also, we can remove. We can also add some custom tabs as per the requirements. Okay.
Okay. So one more question. In Classic, if I have assign some task based on either with the related with the account, some of the records with the account, or some of the records with the contact. So if I switch to the Lightning one and I go back to the task tab, would those tasks will be visible here, or what would be the case?
See, in general, if you click on any tab, right? So by default, it shows the recently viewed task by that user. Suppose as a user, we logged in as Venkat, one of the user. This user is the primary user. So as this user, if I create one of the tasks in the Classic, if I switch to Lightning experience and if I click on this, by default you see the recently viewed. Since I have created and viewed that task in the Classic, same you can see here. Okay. Otherwise, we have the views. Okay, so the purpose of these views, all the open tasks, the tasks which are not completed, right? So we have different filters. So there might be in the table there might be 1,000 records, right? But based on these views, we can see only whatever the data you want. That suppose say today's tasks, it will filter based on the today's date. Only the tasks which are created today it will show. It's like that. Okay. So just understand that. And now, so the main thing what I want to explain. So these are the standard applications, and application is a collection of tabs. And so let's start seeing the campaigns. So as part of the CRM, we started discussing from the campaign. Campaign is a advertisement. So this we call as a tab. And click on this tab, what it will do. By default, this one we call as a view. By default, it will be with recently viewed. That means as a current logged in user. So at present, I logged in as Venkat, one of the user. Whatever the records recently viewed, those it will show. But recently, I did not see anything. It is not showing anything. So, and also we have different views. Since it is a standard object means table, right? So Salesforce, they provided standard list views. These things we call as standard list views. So all active campaigns is one of the standard list view. The campaigns which are active, it will show under this list. And so my active campaign means as a current logged in user, if I am the owner, in general, if you create any row, here row means record. So for that record, this current logged in user will be the owner. Only those it will show. So since it is a free account, developer edition account, they are also providing some test data. So far in this table, we did not create any data, right? But still, if you click on all active campaigns, you are seeing some of the campaigns, right? So in real time, I mean, if you really register for paid production, you don't see any data. So client, they can create their own data. But since so we registered here and it is a free account, it is for practice purpose, they are also providing some test data. Okay, this is the test data, and so all these are the list of records. Records means rows in this campaign table. So you can create new one if you want. To create the new one, we have an option, click on new, and you can create the new campaign. Or if you want, you can also see the existing one in detail. So you can click on that link so that it will show that campaign information. Okay, so here, so click on details. As part of the details, you see all the information related to campaign. So who is the owner? Venkat, right? So because Venkat is the primary user. In general, primary user, whatever the default applications are there, whatever the default data is there, for everything, owner will be the primary user. Okay, so and if you see all the information, this campaign is active, and also type of campaign, right? So direct mail, different types of campaigns are webinar, partners. Suppose say as per the business, they need some other option also. That is also possible. Going forward, we'll discuss that, how we can create the values, even more values based on the requirement. Here just we are exploring the standard application. So what is the budget of this campaign, right? So they are spending this much and they are expecting this much revenue, right? So all those details you can see as part of the standard. So this one is a record detail base, okay? And on top, so on top this area, whatever you are seeing, so this one we call as highlights panel. Highlight panel means what are the key fields for the business. So those fields they show here. So mainly, so what is the type of campaign? What is the status of this campaign? So what is the start date and the date? If you feel that some other field is the key field, you can remove these and you can add the other fields also. So this is highlights panel, and this one in detail all the fields. So this one we call as, we are seeing the record, we are reading this record, right? So I can also modify. You can also modify this to modify. So on top right corner, whatever you are seeing, so all these things we call as actions. Actions. Same thing when you switch to classic experience, the other experience, there we call as buttons. Okay, so here we call as actions. So you see one of the action called edit. You can modify this record by clicking on edit, right? So you can modify and you can update. Suppose say I'm expecting this response as 9% and click on save, right? So we can, so that means I have updated this record. That is the meaning of that. And also we can delete. You can also delete. Okay, so click on this and delete so that it will be. So I'm deleting. This record is deleted. So from our side, no need to write any command. So directly you can do that. And the deleted records will be there in the recycle bin. To open the recycle bin, so you need to click on this app launcher. So click on app launcher, and so here you can search for recycle bin. So if you see, there is one option called recycle bin. Click on recycle bin. So the deleted records will be available in the recycle bin, and from here you can restore. Okay, so here one of the point is deleted records will be available only for 15 days in the recycle bin. So Salesforce, we work in multi-tenant environment. So multi-tenant means if you see this URL, so today we registered, right? Coca-Cola is the company. Behalf of Coca-Cola, Venkat is the person registered. And if you see, AP16 is the server. Okay, this is the server name. Salesforce, they have hundreds of servers. Okay, so if you are interested to see the list of servers provide, I mean, whatever Salesforce is having, so trust.salesforce.com. So you can open this website, and you can also track. So suppose say I'm feeling that the here the application is very slow, right? I want to cross check that is there any effect with this server, right? You can also check that. So for that, trust.salesforce.com, one of the website. So here you can click on status.salesforce.com. So nowadays so Salesforce nowadays they are acquiring many other companies. So day by day it is growing. Okay. So especially you need to click on this status.salesforce.com. Here you can see all the servers available. So here again dedicated to products also they are maintaining some of the servers. Okay, I'm selecting all, and if you see here whatever you are seeing, all these are the servers. Okay, internally all these servers. So there is Amazon. Amazon is famous for hardware, so they purchase it from Amazon, but they won't reveal as part of the branding, right? So all these servers they purchased, and so when you register, when any client register, they get the server space. They get the dedicated space to store their information in one of these servers. So AP means Asia Pacific. In Asia Pacific region, the servers are available. And also if you see so NA, sometimes you see NA. So NA means North America. You can also filter here. So click on America, right? So it will show all the servers. Nowadays these DB servers are introduced in recent months. Okay, I think they purchased many servers. So in general you see like this. So NA 15, right? So NA 59. So all these are the servers which are in North America. NA means North America. Some servers you see with the EU. EU means European region, right? So like that. So just understand. Yeah.
Sorry, what's the difference then between DB, naming convention, versus NA? You explained very well between NA, but there are, we do see DB, right?
DB, so exactly. So I think I'm also not sure why they are maintaining this, but when we work with the Salesforce application, we never see this DB servers. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
I believe maybe so they are providing database as a service, but so I'm not sure on that. But when you, as a Salesforce administrator or developer, when we work, so we see only AP and NA, EU. EU means European region, and also you see CS. Okay, so maybe somewhere if I go down, or somewhere if I will also see CS. CS means customer sandbox. So in general, directly it is not good to work in the production. Okay, so Coca-Cola, they registered and they get the production environment. For the client requirements, directly working in production is not recommended. So not only Salesforce, any platform, they don't directly work in the production. First they work in the test environment, after that they deploy to production. Here also we have the same kind of concept. So for sandboxes, you see the server names as CS. Okay, so You can also see such kind of servers. So somewhere here,
So
maybe
Srini, while you are checking, right, my quick question would be is that, so when we buy, like the same example, Coca-Cola, as then you mentioned that we get production, but do we also get the Sandbox one, so that we will first work on that and then push it to production?
yes, yes.
Okay.
So as part of this development process, I want to explain that. So,
Okay.
so what is happening if I explain theoretically? So people are confusing. That's why since I mentioned that, so Coca-Cola, they got production. So parallelly, I'm also registering and showing. So this is like a production. Whatever
Perfect. Got it.
it is a production. So in the same server, other clients' information also might be there. If you register, you might also get the server space in the same server. But my information will be maintained separately, and your information will be maintained separately. So how they differentiate, right? For that, so I recommend you to just click on this. This one we call as setup area. Setup. Okay, so you need to click on that. When I say setup, so that is this gear icon here. You can click on setup. Okay. So left hand side you see the navigations. So no need to by heart the navigations. Okay, so just you can search for that. So to see the company information, I want to see the information of this company, whatever we have registered. Venkat is the person, company is the Coca-Cola. So I want to see that. So you can click on this company information. If you see the company name and the primary contact is the Venkat, and also they generate one of the unique ID, Salesforce.com organization ID. So this one is a production organization. Okay, so they generate one of the unique ID. So maybe if you register, if you select India while registering, you might also get the server space in same server. Okay, but your information will be maintained separately by using this ID. This is the unique identifier. Okay, so just understand that. And also so for this company, right, so what is the data space they provided, right? Since it is a free account, so we can store up to 2 MB of the data. So here used space, if you click on view, you'll see. So since it is a free account, they provide 2 MB space to store our data. Sorry, I think they are providing 5 MB. Okay, so 5 MB space to store our data. So beyond that, it's not possible. Okay, so and also files, you can attach Excel files or Notepad files or images, anything up to 20 MB. So these limits you can see here, and also number of user licenses. Okay, so in general we need to purchase, but as part of this free account, so they are providing 2 licenses for Salesforce. Again, there are different types of user licenses. It's not that once they register with Salesforce, all the users should be with the same license. Okay, so here Salesforce license user means they will be getting access to all the standard applications, sales, marketing, service, all the applications. Okay, but there is a different license, Salesforce platform. If the user is assigned to this license, they can only see there is one of the standard application called platform. Okay, they can only see that application, and also out of all the standard tables we call as objects, right? We have campaigns, leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities. So these Salesforce platform license users can only access accounts and contacts, but other objects like opportunities, cases, campaigns, they cannot access. So like that. And also there is a license called force.com. Maybe here it is not showing. So let me expand this, show 10 more. So there is a license called force.com, right? So if you go with this license, right, so you won't get any default application. I mean, this license user cannot see any standard application. Okay, they can only see the custom developed applications. So like that. So internally there are different licenses. We have edition. So once after registering for the edition, internally they can manage the users with the licenses. So Salesforce license is costlier. when compared to Salesforce license, Salesforce platform license is cheaper, right? And when compared to that, so Force.com license is cheaper, right? It is like that, okay? And since it is a free account, in general, we supposed to not work in directly the production environment, right? This is like a production. Going forward, to log into this account, you need to open login.salesforce.com and provide your username and the password and the login, okay? In general, directly we should not work in the production. Since it is a free account, they are not allowing to create the test environments. Test environment means here we call as sandbox, okay? Creating sandboxes from here is not possible. But if you are working for a client and if they have unlimited edition or enterprise edition, creating the sandbox is possible. Test environment, here it is not possible. Just to understand, those are some limitations with this account, okay? So let's go back to this. So Coca-Cola, they registered, and Venkat is one of the user. You can visit this website, login.salesforce.com, right? He can provide his credentials going forward. So you need to open this website, provide the credentials, right? So Venkat dot, I think I gave K at the rate -72.com. So this is the username. Let me store that here, and the password SFDC at the rate 123. So going forward, this user should log into this. So login, and also it asks for mobile number. So I told that same user, if we try to log into the Salesforce account from the new internet IP address or from a different browser, it will ask additionally for the verification code. If you register for your mobile number, verification code will come to your mobile number. But I don't want to get to my mobile number. Just I'm saying I don't want to register. If you want, you can give. I think I recommend you to give this, so that whenever you try to log in, immediately you get the message, you can give the verification code and log in. Okay. So from my side here, I'm not doing that. So as a primary user, he can log in and explore the application, and also he want to give access to his team members also, right? So based on the number of licenses, he can also create the other users. The primary user will be created with the system admin accessibility. System admin can do most of the things. More security permissions will be there. So to manage the users, you can search for users, and so click on users, and here you can see the list of users. When we registered only for Venkat, right? Since it is a free account, Salesforce, they are auto generating the other users, integration user, security user, charter expert, different users are generated by system. In general, in production, you don't see like that. Okay, so just understand now. They have requirements. They have identified. They started. Assume that there are 10 users. This user created few more users. So when this user want to create any other user, you can click on new user, right? So you can provide the name of that user, right? Suppose say, so I'm giving the name as Bas72, so one of the user, and also email address and username, right? Suppose say, so I'm giving the username like this. You can give meaningful, right? Suppose say you can give some other name, ravi.k@ some company.com, like that. And so valid email address. So I'm giving my email address only, so that again this user will be notified with email to set the password and security question. Okay, so it is like that. So for now, just I'm going to we are going to create going forward. For now, I don't want to create. Here also you can see licenses. So there is a Salesforce license. So these are the profiles. So there are some topics to discuss. After that, I'll create this. Okay. So like this, you can create multiple users. Assume that there are 10 users. Okay. They started exploring all the standard applications, and they have identified they have some 100 custom requirements. They are exploring the production. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, user license. Yeah. So those are the, so in the company information, whatever you see, those are the available licenses.
Yeah. And we are giving one particular license. If the license are not there, so you can't.
Yeah. So if the licenses are not there, they can purchase for more licenses. So as soon as they pay, they provide more licenses. Okay. So as part of the registration, initial registration, they provide some limited licenses. Beyond that, if you want licenses, we can purchase from Salesforce. So that time you can see. Okay. And also we can also deactivate. Suppose say it's not that. So there are 10 users, right? Suppose 2 users are not using Salesforce. You can deactivate those users and provide their licenses to some other user. That is also there. Okay. Going forward, as part of one of the topic called security, in detail we'll discuss about that. Okay. So here they have identified 100 requirements. Let's say they have explored all the standard applications and they identified 100 requirements to work in a full-fledged way. Okay. So for this Coca-Cola client, they don't have any IT team who knows Salesforce. Okay. They invite some service-based companies for bidding. Suppose assume that Wipro is one of the company, they won the bidding. Right? Wipro company, they won the bidding. Their responsibility is they need to work for the 100 requirements and deliver to Coca-Cola. For that, they get the billing from the Coca-Cola client. Okay. So suppose a Wipro team, they allocated so one manager, right? So one manager, one team lead. Suppose say they allocated 3 team members, right? So maybe 2 developers and 1 QA, right? So like that. So this team is responsible to achieve those requirements. So then they started working. Nowadays, most of the companies, they are following the agile process. Agile means they're not going to work for 100 requirements for 6 months, 1 year and deliver. Okay. So they are going to identify the top 5 priority requirements. And so in general, you see as part of the agile process, every 2 weeks, they'll be having a release. Okay, so those releases we call as sprint. Okay, each sprint 2 weeks. So 1 week is for development and the 1 week is for QA. So when the QA part is going on, developers also should support them to fix the bugs. Okay, so like that, most of the projects they do. So suppose say as part of the first sprint, so based on the number of resources, they have identified 5 requirements, right? And also they got some clarity after discussing with the client side team. So now they want to work on those. Since directly we should not work in the production, so what they'll do from production, you can find some options to create the sandboxes. So for now, since in the free edition, I cannot show that. I'm going to open one of the file where you can see how we can create the sandbox. Okay. Suppose if you have some licenses, okay. So how you see, so just I want to show you, just the left side, it is classic experience. Okay. So left side, search for sandboxes. You see like that. You can click on that and you can see these licenses. And also client, they need to purchase sandbox licenses. Okay, so they can purchase more licenses as soon as they have budget or they have the requirement to manage the multiple test environments. Okay, so in this screen, you are seeing only licenses available for developer. There are again different types of sandboxes. Tomorrow, I'll explain about the different types of sandboxes and see how it works. For now, so just say they selected one of the type of sandbox and they give the name. In general, sandbox, they give the name like dev, QA, UAT, like that. Dev 1, dev 2. config like that. So I'm giving as div, and so after that click on next, and finally, so the sandbox will be created. So sandbox means nothing but the test environment. In a different server, the same applications whatever present in the production, here whatever the Coca-Cola production applications are there, tables are there, all those things, data is there. Based on the type of sandbox, the way it copy is different. That we'll discuss in detail tomorrow. Okay, in general, as part of the development process, we maintain div sandbox for development purpose, QA sandbox for testing purpose, UAT sandbox for user acceptance testing. Finally, if everything is if everyone sign off, finally it will be deployed to production. So that is the process. So when you join in some company, first we need to work here. After that, it will be deployed to QA. They'll test, after that UAT, and after that production.
So
yeah. So the data from production and dev is same or not, right? So it is based on the type of sandbox which we create. Suppose say if you go with this full, tomorrow I'll explain in detail. If you select this full copies sandbox and create the sandbox, whatever the data is there in production, same data it will copy and keep in the dev sandbox also. But if you go with this developer sandbox, it won't copy any data. So we have to create our own test data, which is different when compared to production. Okay. So since we don't have time about that, we discuss in detail tomorrow. But I want you to understand the project starts like this. First, they decide the edition. After that, so they explore the features, and they start using the application. After that, whatever the requirements they identify, so they give to one of the service-based company. They'll work by taking the top requirements, but while working directly, they don't work in the production. First, they work in one of the sandbox. In general, sandbox names will be div. And if you want to log into any sandbox, any kind of sandbox, if you want to log in, the URL is test.salesforce.com. That is the URL. So, and also here I am saying that we have div, we have QA, we have UAT. How we differentiate? Suppose say same user is having access to div, QA, UAT, production. How they differentiate, right? So we have this venkat.k, right? So at the rate suppose dash72.com, right? This is the production username, right? So for same user in div sandbox, they maintain the naming convention. So like this dot right, dot QA, right? So this is for div sandbox, right? So for QA sandbox, they'll say dot QA. So in general, most of the projects, they follow such kind of standards so that they can identify to which org they are trying to log. So yeah.
Can you go from prod, if you open the login to prod, can you go to development from there only?
No. So if you open the production from there, going to sandbox is not possible. Okay, you need to separately open one of the tab and test.salesforce.com and provide your credentials. Okay,
But we can create it from production.
but users once we can from production, we can only create the sandbox. Once the sandbox is created, the users whatever you want to give access to sandbox should be created in that sandbox. So if you create in production, the user will be getting access to production. So sandbox, if you want to give access, you should log into that sandbox and create. Okay. So in detail about that, we'll discuss tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah. Yes. So once you log into test.salesforce.com and log into suppose say div sandbox. Okay. So you created sandbox freshly, and now you are starting logging into that account. You will see exactly whatever you see in the production. But after 1 month, if you see, you might be working on div sandbox. You might be creating many applications and some other tables, some other fields. So those won't be automatically available in production unless you deploy. So whatever newly you create, you need to deploy. Then only those changes will be available. It cannot auto sync. Okay, at the time of creating for first time, that time it copy from the production. After that, both are independent. Okay, so if you make any changes in the production after testing, we have to make sure to deploy to production. It's like that. So in detail about this sandboxes concept, and also there are many Salesforce affiliated websites. Tomorrow I'm going to explain about all the Salesforce affiliated websites and also where you can take the trainings. There are some free trainings where you can take. I'm going to explain about all those things tomorrow. Okay.
So you're gonna tell us about Trailmix and Trailheads also?
Yes.
Okay.
Trailhead.
I'm eager to know that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So all other app exchange, I mentioned that app exchange like an Android platform here to manage the Salesforce application. I'll explain all
I'm
those.
really excited to know about the either Trailhead or Trailmix where I can someone can get the free token for the certification and all. So that is really exciting for me. I mean, that is really
Yes. As soon as you practice, you can get it. Right. All you need to do is spend some time and take those trainings.
So that is regarding Trailmix or that is regarding Trailhead, or what is the process? Can you tell that? I mean, either today or tomorrow.
We'll discuss tomorrow, right? Today already time is not there.
Thank
We'll
you.
discuss tomorrow. Any final questions?
Yeah, before we drop off though, you can answer now or you can answer tomorrow too. So the question is that we know that there is a difference between classic and the other one, right? The lightning, right?
Experience. Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind Salesforce creating those two versions? Because I believe that there was a classic and they moved on to this lightning, but there has to be a reasoning why they have to change that, right?
Yeah, understood. So lightning is more responsive, and also the framework behind the lightning experience is different when compared to Salesforce classic. So mostly they are depending on the client side logic, that means JavaScript so do the client side actions in lightning experience. But whereas in the classic, every time it will hit the server and get the response. So when compared to classic, lightning experience is faster. The reason is they're depending on the client side logic. Client side logic execute within the browser engine itself without hitting the server. Okay.
Got it.
So that is the short answer. And also why they are not still supporting classic, since when Salesforce started in 2000, from 2000 years actively clients are using. So many clients still they have the complex implementations on the classic environment, right? To switch to lightning experience, they need many years. So that is the reason to support such kind of old clients. Still they are supporting classic as well as lightning experience. Okay, in detail we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow again continuation. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions? We'll discuss tomorrow. Thank you.